first day I had walked in, I really didn't know anything about the people I'd be working with, let alone if I would be working with anyone. And I walked into a room and I saw many different interns, and I thought, wow, I thought I was going to be by myself.
When I first got here, my expectations were for me to be put into a little box in a corner on my own computer and not to associate with anyone.
My expectation when I first came here was that this would be a workplace that is not really welcoming or friendly because it's the government, but I was wrong because it's actually really friendly and I feel really welcome here.
It was kind of scary to be considered working for the government. I actually found out that everyone is not someone who looks like they're from Men in Black. A lot of people here were very nice and very supportive of the internship program.
Well, I was pretty much surprised at how formal it was, I guess, since I've had other internships before, other jobs, but nothing nearly as formal as this. It was my first time having to dress up for work.
I kind of already had an idea about Alameda County because I was part of the Youth Leadership Academy, and that was the purpose, to teach us about county government. I wasn't expecting to be in like the basement level, but I get it now because that's where the data center is located.
You know, a lot of interns, people expect you to go get coffee or go just do paperwork for people, but the part of the experience is actually getting into the job and kind of experiencing what the people who work here every day get to do.
I felt like Alameda County was the only place that gave me my own project, which was, I felt, really interesting. I wouldn't be working on something small for something large. I'd just be kind of tinkering around. I actually was handed something else of my own to work on and got to take full control of that.
It's definitely a different perspective from just kind of coding in my house. I learned a lot about how a business works. Definitely a lot of different parts to it. The enterprise program, learning about that was very helpful. And of course, learning about just how the county works in general and how the ITD department works was actually really interesting. I remember we went to the data center, and at home, I just kind of get my internet and that's that. But to see really what happens behind the scenes, I think that was definitely really exciting to be able to see these giant servers and get a taste of what kind of happens behind the scenes.
What I'm working right now with the rest of my team is just the redesign for the Women's Hall of Fame website.
Basically, what we're trying to do is give the website a more powerful look to capture the essence of a powerful woman with a new modern style.
What we have currently is just a site that lists out all the things that go on. We're trying to create something that's more user-friendly and more interactive.
So my current role is to help design the emergency preparedness website. Alameda County is rolling out a brand new emergency preparedness website for all citizens to use. And right now my big role is first going through all the county websites and gathering all the information to put in the website, as well as figuring out how all the navigation is going to work and kind of combining all the individual elements.
And my job was to develop an app that would be for during an emergency, so that residents of Alameda County could find the nearest facilities, such as a hospital or a fire station, and get help. And I remember that I learned a lot about how it wasn't just about developing, similarly to how I would develop in my room back at home. It actually took a lot of decisions to be made, and we would discuss each and every decision, make sure that it was the right one to go.
For the property tax and billing team right now, I'm working as a business analyst. We're working on a project called Aptis, which is the auditor property tax information system, and it's what the auditor is using, managing the different tax rate areas in the county and how all the property taxes get distributed and all that. I'm working on testing and making sure that everything works correctly.
So I'm currently working on an admin module for the shuttle app we built last year. Now we're implementing the features where a user can go in and add different times and possibly delete stops. This is just to increase usability, also to make it more streamlined in terms of not having to go through different departments when managing data.
Mainly, I'm kind of just like shadowing different departments in ITD. Like last week I was with like office tech support, and now this week I'm with networking systems. And so far I find networking systems very interesting to me. I find that one to be my favorite so far. And that's the type of work I want to do. Be more hands-on and work with hardware and stuff like that, and going out to places to help fix stuff and learn new things every day.
I really enjoyed my experience with the student intern program at ITD. It gave me a view of what it's really like to work in this kind of environment, working in a team to program and design things and feel like you're more professional than just a kid going to school. and to feel like you can actually take on more responsibilities than what other people may think you're capable of.
I think the one big takeaway that I'm going to have is basically how a computer scientist works and how we get the prompt, and then we spend a lot of time first researching online all the forums, all the websites of people trying to do something similar, and looking at it and then trying to adapt it to what we're trying to do.
At first I was a bit scared for a 9-to-5 job. I mean, it seemed really big workload, but I realized if you're doing something that you really like technology, and you really care about it, time passes by and it doesn't even seem like you're working. And I also learned that maybe working for the government isn't that bad. I mean, it doesn't seem like a government at all when you work here. It's just good to be actually helping the community in a sense, because here you know that you're actually doing something for the people.
One thing that I'll always say and always hold dear is that the environment here, the people that work here. I think a lot of people who don't work within the government or don't even work within the county, they have this idea of a very kind of mundane environment, but it's not like that at all. There's a lot of life here, a lot of liveliness, and in terms of the learning environment, it's very friendly. It's great for growth. The fact that I'm able to manage my own project and given full control of that. That's something that greatly excites me.
Before, I've only ever worked in really small organizations or small groups, so being able to work in a place like this with so many people working together has been a really big learning experience for me. Shifting around projects through multiple different people and make sure everyone's on the same page, and really interesting to kind of mold my work ethic into that. I definitely enjoy working at the county. Everyone here has done a great job of welcoming us and making us feel like we're a part of the process.
The big takeaway I'll have is just to always try to make connections with people and to hold on to those connections for future references.
I'd say the one things I'm probably going to remember are all of the lunches that we have, since we all go out to lunch to a restaurant on Thursdays. For example, today we spent the whole time just talking about our siblings and how we annoy them and they annoy us. And it's a lot of fun to just hang out and eat.
Back there, it started out as pretty quiet. People wouldn't really talk to each other, but as the summer went by, a lot of pranks and jokes would happen, and I really loved being part of that intern environment and just learning a lot from my peers.
Last year it was just Steven and I, and even then we worked in separate cubicles, so sometimes we didn't really interact with each other much, but this year we have 7 interns, and one day we were just all sitting around and someone decided to throw a little crumpled up sticky note, and I don't know, it kind of started something with all of us, and then we all started throwing sticky notes at each other and just laughing, and I guess that was kind of the breaking point, and then after that we all became friends. Work doesn't have to be something where it's completely offset from fun. It's something that can be enjoyable, and you can be in an environment where you're meeting great people, working with great people, even though you guys all come from different backgrounds.
One of the funniest experiences that I've had with the other interns is while working on my mock-up, there's this joke between me and the other intern, Justin, that my name sounds like mayonnaise because it's Maya, I can pronounce Mia, and then mayo. So while I was putting Latin to fill the text for the mock-up, he went in and typed mayonnaise for life in the middle of the mock-up, where I saved it.
So the most memorable moment I can remember was that Maya and I were in a conference room, and we were in a really serious conference, and it was right across from the actual break room where all of us were sitting. And we looked over and we saw almost everybody were dancing around, and they were laughing and they were looking at us, and it was really funny because both of us were trying to contain our laughter because we realized that we were in a serious conference, and they would just keep looking at us, and it was a really fun thing because they didn't actually realize that we were in a conference.
The one fun moment I've had here is we were doing one of our weekly intern sessions where we have a meeting with the managers and get to practice different projects. And so we were doing a project management session where we're supposed to learn about project management, and we had a mock project. We had to come up with tasks, and the project they chose was to make me a model, which was a little bit entertaining. I wasn't expecting it, but it was pretty fun to go through that process and joke around about getting myself a tan and everything.
I loved the experience I had here, and I definitely recommend this to any number of my friends. And I just would want them to come here and know that IT is definitely an option for a career, and it's not something boring where you're just typing in front of a computer. You're actively doing something and creating something. You actually see that your project is being created to help others in the community, which is a very rewarding feeling.
I've learned a lot from this internship, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who's planning to go into computer science or pursue any type of career in the computer science industry.
At school, when I take AP Computer Science, the class, I learn from a textbook, I learn from a teacher, but here it's actually doing things, not just understanding the concept, but being asked to research a concept that I don't even know about and then asking me to implement that in a real world situation. I think that I've become definitely more worldly in the sense that I've learned the business aspect as well as civics aspect of the government and how it works, but also from the technology side, I've definitely been able to get actual hands-on experience too to see what it might be like in the future.
This internship was important to me because me personally, I wanted to learn more about technology and how technology departments work, so interning in one was very useful and it opened me to the world that I was unfamiliar with. I think it's important for people to intern or work with a certain field if they want to get into it, and I would most definitely recommend this to another person.
I think the student internship program is really important for the county because it brings in a good connection to the youth, and we're the next generation coming up, and a lot of us don't really know much about how our government goes and what the county does for us. So it gives us a really good inside look while being able to contribute to see what the county is all about. The one biggest thing I figured out from working here is that government jobs are A-okay.
Personally, this internship has really opened my eyes to how the government works and why the people actually fund it and what they really expect from it. And I would definitely recommend this to my friends once they get back to school.
People think, the government's lagging behind, it's not keeping up, but, here in Alameda County, ITD is up there, we're at the forefront in terms of government technology and all that. Tim talked about Government 2.0, and he always mentions us always winning all these awards. And Alameda County is pushing something, we are pushing the envelope. And it's an exciting environment. It's not like I'm just sitting around every day just kind of waiting for something to happen, hoping for something to happen. It's more like things are happening and I'm excited just to be a part of it. If anything, I can tell you I just get excited thinking about it.